It's time to cook up Wagyu beef ribs on the Oklahoma Joe and Traeger. Which one is going to come out best? All right, guys, you know the drill. It is time to put Traeger and Oklahoma Joe up against each other once again. And I can tell you, this might be the last experiment before I make my final decision. Before we get into this experiment, we are days away from ComparisonCooking.com being launched. So make sure you check out in the description below ComparisonCooking.com and check out our newsletter and what our website has to offer. Today, we are going to put these beef ribs against each other on the Traeger and Oklahoma Joe. You know the drill. We're trying to make a decision. Which one should I buy? Talking about these beef ribs, I don't traditionally cook a lot of beef ribs. I've done a few, but not as many as some people I see online do. Some people do it all the time. It is their cup of tea, and they just freaking love them. I can tell you right away, when you are cooking something you don't normally cook, pro tip, start an hour earlier than you were planning. So I want these off at 6 o'clock at night. So I should start prepping these at 11, get my smoker going at 11:30, put these on at noon, right? Whenever you're dealing with something you don't work with all the time, give yourself an extra hour, all right? I'm already running behind. I want it to start at 11. Now it's getting closer to noon because I'm just not used to working with this cut of beef. All right, this goes for every recipe or cut that you're not used to dealing with. If you know you want to cook for 6 hours roughly, and you give yourself an hour of prep time, give yourself 2 hours of prep time. It's gonna go a long way. All right, these beef ribs are not the thick, huge beef ribs you see on Instagram that have, you know, this much meat on top of them. They were cut pretty thin to the bone. However, I got two of these and I gave one to a buddy that loves beef ribs and he said they were phenomenal. So there's a lot of great marbling, being Wagyu, in these beef ribs that I know it's gonna be delicious, even though they're not the huge, delicious ones. Now it's a 7-bone beef rib. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut right down here and split them up so we have as many as possible equal on the Traeger and Oklahoma Joe to get this experiment going. Let's do it.
Before we get into the results, I just want to remind everybody to check out ComparisonCooking.com to find all your backyard barbecue smoking needs. The other thing I want to remind you of is to check out the playlist in the description below or at the end of the video to make sure you get a good feeling for which one makes the most sense for you. The third thing I want to mention is we are coming to the very end of our pellet smoker comparison journey. I'm gonna let you know in the next video coming out very soon which one I am going to personally keep and which one I'm going to unload and my reasons for doing that. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you know exactly when the video comes out about which one I am going to keep for myself. It is the next day from this cook. We had a party, we brought the ribs to the party, and guess what? The results were exactly the same. Nobody could tell the difference between these two beef ribs. They were both just spot on, delicious. Now a note, these weren't the big dino bones beef ribs that have meat that big, you know, brisket on a stick. These were trimmed very far down, more than I would like, but it's still, because it was that Wagyu meat, it was still so tender. Lots of fat. Actually, for me, too much fat. After about 2 or 3 bites, these dino bones, they were just a little too fatty for me. I can't wait to try the beef ribs that have a huge amount of meat. But today, that wasn't the experiment. The experiment did yield very equal results. I was trying to really nitpick what the differences were, and there weren't any. The coloring on the Oklahoma Joe while cooking was a little bit better, but after the tin foil, after the rest in the cooler for 2 hours, they came out identical. Great flavor, super tender. These smokers got the job done when it came to dino bones. You guys, if you like these videos, check out this playlist and check out this video right here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon.